We are back for part two with Kate
Yay.
Lombardo, director at Yoga Renew. Kate, thank you for coming back on.
Thank you. I'm so excited to continue this conversation.
Yes, we're still in our same clothes. It's
Yeah.
the same day for us, 1 week later for them.
Yes, I love that.
So, we're going to be talking about money mindset for yoga
Yes.
teachers and fitness instructors. And I can't wait
Yeah.
to pick your brain on this topic. But before we do,
Mhm.
would you tell us, like, how did you get into yoga to begin with personally? How
Yeah.
did it?
So I talked a little bit about this on last week's episodes. If you haven't listened to that, you can jump back on first. So when I was 22, my lung collapsed, and that like kind of turned my whole life upside down. And in the healing process of that, I I was just like, I was so lost, I think, because I had been so healthy and I had no idea like why this would have just happened. And I was really young and out of college, and I hadn't ever really faced, I mean, I had faced challenges, but like true adversity, I was like, I just didn't realize it was possible for things to like come down so quickly. And in the healing process, I was working out. I was doing Zumba, which was like a big craze at the time,
Oh yeah.
and
I wanted to wear
dancing
those
my
pants.
little booty off. And
Oh.
I came to a gym to take a Zumba class, and I was late and missed it. And so in like the room next door, there was a yoga class happening. And I was like, I mean, I guess I'll just hop into this class because I'm here, so I might as well. And group fitness, as opposed to like just doing my own thing, has always just served me better. So I jumped into this yoga class with zero prior experience. At the time, I could not touch my toes. I was also like in deep in this healing process where I was like I wasn't like out of shape at that point, but I was not, I was getting back into things for
Okay.
sure. And I had no experience with yoga. And so, didn't know any of the poses. Like I was, it's so much of like follow left, right. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'll be honest that like it was kind of, I was kind of a disaster. Like it was not, it wasn't like that I was following along great, but I remember getting to the end to Shavasana, and the teacher kept talking about like, okay, it's time to focus on your breath. You're going to use your breath for to help you relax.
Huh.
And I was just like laying there crying because for me, my breath had been this thing that I was so angry at because it was like related to breathing, was like the stuff that had just put my life into such struggle.
Yeah.
And now this thing was like giving me control of it back and helping me to find such a sense of peace. And I was like, okay, I'm hooked on this
Huh.
aspect of it. This is so interesting. And then I was too scared to go back. So I did a yoga DVD video. Again, I'm aging myself, at home for 3 months in my living room
Oh.
because I just like, I was never, we talked last week, but I'm 5'8". I grew very fast. I was never really flexible. So like
Mm.
that was really challenging for me. I didn't have what you would, people will look at pictures of me if you go on my Instagram now and they're like, there's no way you could never touch your toes. I was like, I swear on my life, like never could touch my toes in my entire life until I got into yoga. And so, yeah, I did it at home, which I would not recommend anyone doing. That was like a crazy decision. Now I'm like, please go back to a class and have a teacher like teach you correctly. But at
Was
the
that
time
just
I did
your,
it,
was it like your pride and you didn't think you were good?
yeah, I think I was just like, I was nervous. Like I feel like I'm very extroverted and outgoing, but I like, oh, I just felt like weird walking to a space where everyone seemed to like know the vibe and know what to do, and I felt like I didn't.
Were you
Um,
good at Zumba? You were doing Zumba
yeah,
classes?
I was good at Zumba because I danced, like I did musical
Okay.
theater growing up, so
Oh,
like
that's
that
okay.
felt familiar for
Okay.
me. Like I could follow choreography, but
Uh-huh.
like I literally didn't know like a single pose, like anything that poses were called. So, it was just, and it was not in a wonderful way. I mean, it made me fall in love with it, but like it was at a gym where I feel like it wasn't like a beginner, like walking into like
Yeah.
a beginner series at a yoga studio where they're like, let me teach you this. It was like kind of just like you follow along, and I didn't really know how to follow along. So it
Uh-huh.
was my own stuff. Like I'm sure if I had told the teacher I was new, she would have been like, oh, let me help you. But I was just self-conscious and in
Yeah.
like a weird space. But after I got comfortable 3 months later, I went back and I kept going, and it really just became the thing that I stuck with. And still, I mean, that was almost 20 years ago, and maybe not quite 18, 17, 18 years ago. And it's like been the constant really that I've done other, of course, forms of fitness and things like that that I also love, but I've stuck with it since then. So
Did you enjoy, obviously you said you enjoyed the Shavasana and that like
yes.
attention to breath
Yep.
being, healing and therapeutic.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the class itself too?
I did.
I'm
I
so curious
like,
about this.
yeah,
Of what we said last week too. Like, it's just so I didn't.
yeah,
I found yoga painfully boring.
Re-
So like at the opposite of you. Like
yeah,
it was like I'd get up and I wanted to be this is where I'm opposite of
yeah.
you. I'm like super hypermobile, like
Okay.
double
Okay.
jointed. I'm like I can, bend in
Do
every
yeah.
I look like a yoga girl when I'm not. I didn't earn it.
Yep.
I mean, and
Yep.
so I'd like think this is for me, and I would go and I would like get up in the morning and go take a class, and it was like 90 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then there's like
Yeah.
15 minutes of Shavasana at the end, and I'm just like, when can I leave? And like, I was just laid down for 8 hours. Now I gotta
Yeah.
lay down for 15 more minutes. I just found it so hard to love. It did
Yeah.
bite me later. Later, I got
Yeah.
the bug, and now I love all that. All
Yeah.
it just took so
I
interesting
think
to me to
too,
hear stories.
I think too, it's like it's so dependent, right? Yoga is such a broad term. Like there's
I
so
know.
many styles, there's so many types. And the one that I was in was definitely like a flowy kind of power vinyasa class.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I think that like, so there was movement. It wasn't
Yeah.
like just like, I mean, I teach vinyasa and yin are the two styles that I primarily teach. And they're like total opposites, right? Like, I think if
Yeah.
I had walked into a yin class, I would have been like, what is happening right now? Which is how I felt when I like, what I thought of yin for when I was doing vinyasa for so many years. I was like, oh, yin's so easy. And then I actually took a yin class and I was like, oh my God, this is so hard.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like
but
flipping
like
off the
until I
switch.
actually did it, like and what I imagined was not like remotely what it's like. Um, so it was like still fast and flowy and I liked it, but I guess I don't know. I liked it and then I kept doing it, I would say, but I don't know that I didn't find it like fun, if that makes sense. Like Zumba was like fun for me because it like came easy, but
Yeah.
I there was something that drew me to it that was like you're supposed to keep doing this.
So for our non-yogi listeners,
Yeah.
vinyasa is more of like a yang. It's more of a
Yeah.
like fast and
Fun, flowy. Yeah.
sweaty.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
yin is like there's no strength component to it. It's just like body weight, deep, get
Yeah.
into your fascia and
Yeah. Like deep
hold.
stretching,
Like
opening all your joints and like the
yeah,
stuff that like you otherwise
just sitting in it.
don't get to. Yeah. It's a whole different vibe.
Something else that you said in there, talking about your first class and everything, that's really interesting to me, is that in Shavasana you cried, and I do think the yoga it gets us in it does open us up, the heart
Yeah.
opening, the hip opening, and the stillness and having to sit still.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't like it because I
Yeah.
didn't like
It's
parts of
hard.
myself.
It's
Yeah,
hard to
you
like
have to
sit with your
sit.
shit. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm
Yes,
allowed to say
no,
that, but
that's
like it's
exactly what
hard.
I meant. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I wasn't comfortable in my skin and I didn't want to
Yeah.
be in my head. And
Yeah.
that's why I didn't like it. That's why
Totally.
I want to keep going. I seek
Yeah.
distraction, and
Yep.
I seek, I wrestle with feelings of discontent. And so
Totally.
that's why I just makes me squirm and squiggle.
100%.
But so many people, even in our rhythm classes, like it's such a
Yeah.
common thing to end up in tears. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's really
Yeah.
beautiful. So,
Yeah.
Vinyasa and Yin are your
Yes.
favorites, which is cool because they're
Yes.
night and day. Like,
Yep. Yep. Total. They like good balance for each other, I feel like, which is nice.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, those are your favorites, and
Mhm.
you're gonna need to make me finish my Yin.
Yes. I do. It's, you know what I like about yin, especially for anyone, even if you're not, even if you don't teach like another style of yoga, I think what yin is a really nice compliment to is anyone who works with athletes, like people who are very athletic and focus so much on the strength component. What yin really does is, like you mentioned, like allows you to get into the fascia. And the goal of it is really to target the connective tissue in a way that's safe, right? Like we don't work out our joints in a yang like activity. You're not like, oh, let me get into my ligaments. Like that's not safe at all when you're like under heat. And what yin really seeks to do is to make sure to increase the mobility in like a very slow, safe way using gravity, releasing muscle engagement so that
Yeah,
the fascia can open up,
yeah.
which is super important. I mean, especially if we talk about like aging, getting older, like
Yes.
just doing the strength
Yeah.
is also dangerous. And so I think it's like a really interesting yoga practice. Sorry, my kids just came home, so
I
they're going to
can't
be
tell.
probably noisy in the background. Okay.
They can walk in
Um,
the room. It's fine.
okay.
We're,
They,
we're instructors. We lots
cool.
of kids.
Thank you.
There's lots of
Two
kids
little
roaming
ones at
around.
home.
Mhm.
Um, hold on one second. Give me one second. Hey
No
guys,
problem.
just give me a few more minutes, okay? I'm just on a call. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I love it.
um,
I love
so
it.
yeah,
Um,
the
oh wait, I know
opening of
what
all the joints is
yes,
key for
I
you.
was gonna say, I feel like yin is like flirting with the brink of pain. Not pain,
Totally.
like
Yes.
flirting,
Discomfort.
just kind of
Yes.
flirting with the brink.
Yes. Sensation.
Yes, this but yeah, it's I love it so
I'm
much.
glad.
And something else you said, and then we'll talk money, 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 money.
Yeah.
What I love about yoga, because I said I'm so hypermobile, like
Yeah.
my knees bend backwards, my elbows bend backwards, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I lacked the strength and stability in
Hmm.
yoga poses. And then I think of like there's someone, he's a friend of mine and he actually listens to the show sometimes and he would not mind me sharing it all. He's in his 70s,
Okay.
had two knee replacements, and he's always been a track athlete. I live in Eugene, Oregon. It's like track town,
Okay. Yeah.
USA. Everyone's an outdoor athlete here.
Sure.
And he's just tight as a knot. Like you talk, like
Yeah.
he can't touch his
Yeah.
toes, you know what I mean? He's tight
Yeah.
as a knot. And I love that he and I can be in the same pose, triangle or whatever.
Yeah.
And for me, there's like strength and stability to be had.
Yes.
And for him, there's flexibility and mobility. I know those
Yeah.
are different to be
Yeah.
had. And like, so whatever you are and whatever your body's like and whatever you're bringing to the table, wherever you
It
are
meets
in
you
that
where you are.
spectrum,
Yeah.
yes, it meets you where you are. And every pose can challenge you if you lean into that piece that
Yeah.
you need.
Totally.
So I
It's
love
all, it's
that.
such, it's a practice that's so much about balance, right? And it's supposed, excuse me, supposed to evolve with you as you get older and your body, or, as things happen and like it meets you, like after I had my kids, it felt very different at first than like when I had, like before I got pregnant, and I think, but it was still there in some way to just like hold you in whatever space you need it, which is so like, that's why I love it so much.
So anyway, okay, your kids are home,
Yeah.
so let's get into the hard
Yes.
so you can go slip into mom mode. But
Yeah.
so let's talk about money and instructor
Yes.
pay and what do you, just, I don't know.
All the
What
things.
is
I
your
know.
money mindset?
Not,
What is your
yeah.
money mindset? You're entrepreneurial. I'll
Yeah.
say right now, I think instructors are underpaid and we love
Yep.
what we do so much. We're all like, I'll do it for free
You're free.
forever
Yeah.
because it
Well,
fills my heart. So,
it's true. I think so. My biggest thing, and it's a topic I've been speaking about more recently. And I want to start by saying I can't believe it's a topic that I'm now like leaning into speaking about in so many ways. Cause I was the girl that if you wanted to talk about money or budgeting or anything, like my husband would be like, we need to sit and go over our budget. And I'd be like, I'm going to just start crying. I can't talk about money. Like it stressed me out so much. I've been, as I shared, all the lung collapse stuff, medical bills, like I've been in such debt and so broke.
oh yeah.
And that's like a whole thing. Like I know what it is like to be in that scarcity mode. And there's so much fear wrapped up in the trauma of that experience for me.
Yeah.
And to be now like talking about money mindset is always like a crazy thing. But the more I've done so much work for myself throughout my entrepreneurship journey on my relationship with money. And I've just found over the last like few years, that's the thing. People, of course, they love to talk about yoga, but they're like, can you talk to me about this money thing and all this money work you keep mentioning? So it's just so interesting. But really, I think I'm so passionate about it because I agree. We work in an industry, these billion-dollar industries, and then the instructors are often like running around crazy to try to make ends meet. And I saw that as a problem for myself. I still see it as an industry wide problem, which is like a separate conversation. But when I was like, how do I empower myself to get better at this? Is really when I started to say, like, if I'm going to do this, I need to treat myself like an entrepreneur and a business owner
Mhm.
and not just labeling myself as a yoga teacher or just an instructor. Like,
Mhm.
what do I do to round out a full and complete business? And how do I get good at this? And I did a lot with strategy for a while, and I've gotten really good at the strategy, but I still wasn't seeing the financial jumps that I had wanted to see. And it wasn't until this happened for me in 2018. I was
Sorry,
like,
what do you mean by strategy? Money making
like
strategy?
learned about like the email marketing and social media
Oh, okay,
strategy and
got it.
sales,
Okay,
like the business
okay.
strategy component of it. I got good at that, but I still wasn't seeing the results that I felt like I should have been seeing. And in 2018, I read this book that changed my life called it's by Jensen Chero called You're a Badass at Making
Oh,
Money. And have you ever read it?
no, but I
It's
know
so
she
good.
wrote. Doesn't she have a book?
You are a badass. Yeah. Her
Yeah.
whole
Okay.
thing is like, so she has one that's specific to money.
Okay.
And I love that it's a female voice.
Mm.
She's funny. Like there was just something about it that clicked for me in a different way. And as I read it, I was like, oh God, like I have a really bad relationship with money. Like I am real stuck in scarcity mode. And that unlocked a journey for me to just like undo so much of the way that I thought about money and to understand just like how much of it was like my own fault with like how I treated my money, how I spoke about money, the way I related to money. I mean, and it really, in doing that work, is when things started to change and open up and when my business grew and I like it's always still an evolving process, but moving from that scarcity space to
Mm.
a more abundant mindset was
Mm.
just key to the success of my business overall.
Wow. And
Yeah.
and I like what you said earlier too about relabeling the way you even
Yes.
spoke about yourself instead of
Yeah.
calling yourself a yoga teacher, but an
Yes.
entrepreneur and a
Yeah.
business
And
woman.
that's really when that started true.
Oh,
Like at that time where I was like, oh, I need to take, if I can't just, I could sit around and complain about that this is an industry problem, or I could solve the problem for myself, right? And empower myself
oh,
to fix
so
this.
good.
Yeah. It's so important.
And
So
and and
important.
and was part of that also just claiming your own worth and value?
Yeah. I think for me, it was two things. It was one, understanding my own worth and value and starting to say, like, it, like, as you said, we're like, I love this so much. I would do this for free. And that's nice. And I think so many people, instructors, group fitness, yoga, you can still serve and do things for free and help people, but you can also charge, right? Like now I'm like, okay, I'm going to charge for my services. I know my worth. And actually, what that has done is then allowed me to be like, my business is stable. I can give scholarships to our teacher trainings, right? Like, I don't need every single person to be a paying customer because, like, my money is good. And it's actually allowed me to give and serve more to the people who need it when I actually felt like I was assigning the value and stepping into my own worth. So I think that's the first thing. And the second thing is that I was really afraid that if I made more money, people would think that I was greedy. Like that for me was like when I
Wow.
really dove into my relationship with money, I was like, oh, I think people who have a lot of money are greedy. And that was like a really tough belief that I realized I had held for a long time when I had to learn, like, no, greedy people do greedy things with money. There's a lot of good people that do really, really good stuff with their money who help people and help solve childhood hunger and
Yeah.
cure diseases. Like all of that comes from money too. And it was learning to reframe that and go, like, I could, if more yoga teachers, group fitness instructors, people who want to do good in the world held more wealth, like we could do so much good. And I think making that shift has empowered
So
me to
true.
like not feel guilty
Yeah.
around saying like, no, I want to make more money.
So true because a lot of us are some of the best people in the world.
Yes,
We have big hearts.
totally.
We love
Yes.
people. It's like a
Yes.
mission and a ministry and it's a service.
So true.
So,
Yeah.
I did actually want to talk about, which is different, kind of. It is different, the industry issue. So I do,
Yeah.
as an industry at large, so
Yeah.
on the macro, instructors are underpaid.
Yes.
And I would love to see that change. And I
Mhm.
actually think this message.
I just want a couple, sorry.
No,
So sorry.
it's
Give me a couple more minutes. Oh, excuse me for 1 second. I'm sorry.
okay.
Hi, I'm so sorry.
No.
We're like in the crossover. My husband getting home, our nanny, our babysitter's leaving. I'm sorry. Thank you about that.
Fine. I was just saying on the
Yeah.
I believe if individually
Hmm.
could adopt this empowering mindset shift,
Yeah,
then maybe we can see a ripple effect
totally.
in the big
And I mean, I think some of that is tough, right? Because I've been a yoga studio owner too. And we do our best to definitely pay our teachers. Like in our area, we're on like the higher end of what we pay our instructors. But there's also a problem for like small boats. I mean, this is like I can get into my all of my thoughts on this, but it's a challenge we're seeing in general, right? Like smaller boutiques, small businesses, like rent prices have gone up. And it's
yeah,
not like the profit margins for a yoga studio owner or a Pilates studio or any of these places are huge,
yeah,
even as the business owner. So then it looks to this higher problem of how, for the small business owners, for the instructors, how are we making sure that people are able to be paid fairly? And for me, I mean, the number one thing I can say to anyone, and I'm sure all of your audience would agree, is like, pay the businesses directly. Like things where you're finding like discount pricing on fitness stuff, like half of it is going to these big billion-dollar companies and not to the people who are actually showing up and doing the teaching and putting the programming together. And that's a conversation that I think more people need to be aware of. And that's a societal issue in general, right? Of like being thoughtful about which businesses we're supporting.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
great. I know you have a lot going
Uh,
on.
I'm
Do
so
you,
sorry about
no,
that.
I really, really, this show, like, we're very come as you are. And
Thank you. Well, I appreciate the grace on
no,
that.
it's not grace. It's just, I like authenticity. If your kids are home, your kids are home. Okay, so any other thoughts on making this mindset shift as an individual before
Yeah.
pulling
I
the
think
question
I
on?
think the first thing is just to understand that it's like the last thought I would say is if this is work that you're interested in doing, like it's not linear and it doesn't happen overnight, right? Like I said, like it's 2025 right now. 2018 is when that started for me. In 7 years, I've made a ton of progress and still
Yeah,
there are moments that that stuff comes up and that like I now know things to like help myself get rewired on it. But I think just starting to like do the scary stuff about being like, how, okay, so where am I at with money? Like, it's not a topic that feels comfortable in life to talk about it. Throw it into the fitness and the yoga world, and people are like, oh my God, this is the conversation that we're gonna have. But it's also this thing that like literally every single one of us needs, right? It's like the fact that it is something that's so awkward to talk about when everybody needs it, it
yeah,
shouldn't be that awkward. And I think that the more that we open ourselves up to honest conversations about it and to like starting to do the work around just being willing to retrain our minds a bit, the more empowered we can become to use it as like a foundational tool to build our businesses and to facilitate that growth.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Great. All right, okay, if you guys didn't hear last week's episode, it was one of the best confessions we've ever had, so you'll need to go back and listen. But what's your confession
Oh
for?
my goodness. I don't know if I'll be able to top that one.
No, it's okay.
um, Probably I would say that like the other kind of confession from a group fitness standpoint. This one is like a little less last one's was like funny, embarrassing. This one's probably just more heartfelt and emotional, is that I don't think that there's anything that like makes me feel a greater sense of emotion than just watching like a group of people come together in a collective experience. For me, it's always like when you can get a group of people like in Shavasana, but whatever type of fitness you're doing, like at the end to feel like the collective shift of everybody. Like I think it's probably like 50% of the time that I'm just actually sitting up there like crying because I just think it's like the most special thing in the world. And so I feel like group fitness instructors in general are like superheroes kind of up there and serving
I do
as
too.
much as they can. So,
I do.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
coming
so
on.
much
And
for
if
having me.
again, yeah, if you are a Warrior Rhythm instructor, you can log into your instructor portal and you can see how you can receive a massive discount on your 200-hour yoga teacher training through Yoga Renew. Kate, tell us how they can find you on social and
Yes.
how they can find Yoga Renew.
Absolutely. So for Yoga Renew, we are at Yoga Renew on Instagram and yogarenew.com. My personal Instagram is at Kate Lombardo. And I actually have linked there if anyone's interested. I have a free like 3-day money mindset makeover that'll just like come straight to your email. It's super fun. There's like journaling prompts and pep talks for me. So
Oh
that's
my,
linked in my Instagram if anyone's
that's
interested.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, me.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like it's a fun way to just like start that work. So,
Yeah, and thank you for the
yeah.
book recommendation as
Oh
well.
my gosh, yes, you're a badass at making money. Like run out and buy it yesterday. It's such a good one.
Okay, well, Kate, it has truly been a pleasure.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so much for
much.
your time. And
Thank you for having
I'm
me.
sure our worlds, even though East and West
Yes,
will collide.
for sure.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye.